Welcome to another week of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. And Clarkey, there's a lot to cover here, okay?
You need to pick up the energy a little bit.
What are you talking about, man?
Well,
I'm fired up. I'm
Leafs
excited.
have won 2 in a row. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to talk about that. And look, when we want to talk about the Leafs and we want to get some insight into, some coaching takes and we want to dig into strategy and talking about all that good stuff. There's a guy we turn to. He's a good friend of the show. I don't know if this guy, can afford to give us his time, honestly. He's so busy, but we're very thankful that he carved out a little space where we could have a chat with him. He is the special advisor and development coach, and he's been helping out on the bench too recently as well with the Ontario Hockey League Sarnia Sting. People in Midwestern Ontario know this guy. Longtime general manager, head coach, Sutherland Cup champion with the Listowel Cyclones. We're very pleased to welcome on our friend and unfortunately also a big Leaf fan. Our buddy Jason Brooks is on the show. Brooksy, how you doing, brother? What's up?
I'm doing great, Ryan and Clarkey. Thank you for having me on.
We appreciate you coming on here. So obviously we'll talk a bit about your guys' Leafs and all that stuff. That's great. Even though, the Capitals are first in the East, that's fine. We'll talk about the Leafs instead. But before we do that,
it's November. Or no, it's December now. It's okay.
It's December.
December. Yeah.
Before we do that, though, Brooksy, we got to talk a little bit about what you've been up to. Now, I know you're also coaching the Huron-Perth Lakers U16 team. You're involved with the Sting, so you're back with an OHL team, which, of course, you have a long history of. I remember talking to you a few years ago and being like, do you still kind of have that itch to be back? And you were like, I don't know. I want to coach my kids and do all that. Well, here you are. You find yourself back in the Ontario Hockey League. Welcome back into the fraternity, brother. How'd this all come about?
Well, I guess in the summertime when Ryan Finch, Mark Guy bought into the Sarnia Sting, they had asked me if I'd have an interest to maybe get back involved in some capacity. And I said I didn't want anything obviously full-time because, as you say, I'm coaching the U16 Huron-Perth Lakers and, having 2 daughters, one at the Wilfrid Laurier University playing hockey there and then one playing U22 in London, AA girls. It's busy here in this house and I want to be available to my kids, but at the same time, the opportunity to get back into the OHL in some capacity that the Sting were gracious enough to make work for me. As you said, an advisor and development type coach, mostly doing video of prospects and stuff, has really worked out really well for me and allowing me to still do the things with my family that I need to do.
So on the surface, I think I would love to be an advisor to anything. What does an advisor to a hockey club do? What do you do?
Quite honestly, Clarkey, it's a great answer because I feel the same way. I love being an advisor because you state your opinion, you share your thoughts.
Love that.
I get to work with, the coaches. I worked mostly with Mason Baptiste and Braden Guy, the assistant coaches there in Sarnia, especially after they relieved Alan Letang, who was, by the way, an excellent person, an excellent coach, was very gracious to me while I was there, working with the 3 of them just on game plans when I was around, talking about the team, talking about individual players. What they would have me do, though, and what Al was having me do is work with prospects, work with first-year players within the team, doing some video, trying to help them understand what the Sting wanted, what Alan wanted as a coach, and try to better prepare them and help them step into play when they're called upon. Dylan Sika is the GM and Mark Guy is president. I'll work with them a little bit just on personnel decisions and whatever. And it's just, like I say, it's kind of nice. You get to state your opinion, but you don't really have your butt on the line, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, no target on the back.
Yeah,
That's right.
the seat's not that hot, which is great. But I mean, obviously, with the recent news that Alan Letang was let go, obviously you kind of had to get called into action and hop back behind a bench. I mean, I'm sure that was a big thrill for you, and I know you like to downplay it, but I know that you do like being behind the bench. I'm sure it was a cool experience to jump back there, eh?
Honestly, it was a great experience. I can't sugarcoat it and come off that it wasn't a big deal. It was cool to be back on the bench. I mean, remembering, trying to remember back to my days in Guelph, trying to remember back at my days in Niagara and the speed and the talent. And then you step on the bench. In our first game that I'm on the bench is in Brantford, and they're quite the heater of a team. To see in action was pretty impressive and pretty fun to be a part of. Um, I will say that the players in Sarnia is a great group of kids. Like they genuinely are a great group of kids. They care. There's lots of talent there, and now with Matthew Turcotte coming in to coach, hopefully he can right the ship and they can start putting some wins together.
Yeah, they certainly have an interesting collection of young talent there, and you'll have to pass this on for me. I'll see him on December.
He's an
12th,
advisor too. It sounds like some advisories coming up here.
There's some advising, which is good. I mean, you could do worse than having Brooksy be your advisor. I might need him to be my play-by-play advisor because I'm gonna have to make a sincere apology to Jacob Reese when you guys come to town. Are you going to be at the game on the 12th? Are you coming to take that in at the Sleeman Center, Brooksy?
Ryan, you're asking me questions a week out. I'm lucky to know my tomorrow. If we aren't playing with the Lakers and my daughter isn't playing, then there is a possibility. We will see.
I'll cross my fingers and hope I see you there. But you'll have to pass this on for me, and I'll see him on the 12th. I have to make a public apology to Jacob Reese, who I spent the entire last game that they were in Guelph calling Reese Jacob, because I made a Cardinal. I did the Cardinal sin, Clarkey. You would hate this. You'd be really upset with me. I trusted the in-house roster sheet, which, to be fair, is done by interns. But I trusted it, and it had him listed as Reese Jacob. It also had a bunch of the stats on it wrong. I know I can no longer use it. Can't use the in-house media packet, so just beware of that. I spent the entire night calling him Reese Jacob, and I felt absolutely sick to my stomach after. Absolutely sick to my stomach. It's a disgusting thing to do, and I will be talking to Jacob Reese when he comes to town and apologizing to him. When you consider all of the experiences that you've had, not only from a leadership perspective, GM experience that you've got, advising, but coaching as well at numerous levels. What's it like having to kind of handle guys at different levels, Brooksy? I mean, you've had tremendous success in the Greater Ontario Hockey League, previous experience in the Ontario Hockey League. Now you're coaching U16 AAA. What's the biggest differences in trying to handle the expectations and the ups and downs that these guys experience throughout those different types of levels? I'm sure that you have to approach it a little differently.
It's funny you say that, but really it isn't that much different. I mean, you push and challenge and you can be hard, but at the same time, a U16 kid is looking to get drafted, right? That's his goal. An OHL kid is looking to get drafted to the NHL. That's their goal. So realistically, it's the same things same issues you're dealing with at both levels. Just obviously the OHL guys, it's on a bit grander scale because it's the NHL they're trying to get to. Obviously with Junior B, it's different. They're fighting and trying hard to get noticed and get accepted. And again, you coach them the same way. You push them and challenge them, but at the same time, you know what they're going through and you talk to them and try to work with them as best you can.
Absolutely. Well said. I need to ask you as well, because I wanted to bring up a picture. I like throwing this up there whenever we chat with you. It always makes me inevitably think of this, of course, the first Sutherland Cup championship in Listowel Cyclones history. They've now got 2 up there with, your cohort, your assistant coach on this team, Jesse Cole, leading them to one in 2023. But this was the first one, 2018. I was there for that, calling it on CKNX. We have very fond memories of this. It was the first Sutherland Cup championship that the radio station got to call. And I frequently run into guys and still stay in contact with guys from this team, including yourself. And all of them, whenever it gets brought up, all of them to a man are like, Brooksy was a very hard and demanding coach, but it made us all better. It made us better players. It made us better people. And when you reflect back on achievements like that and the fact that so many of the guys that are in this picture are now successful coaches, police officers, leaders in their community, continuing to be involved with the game. Holden Lansing, Brady Anderson, Blake Nickel. Like, when you look down the list at some of these guys, and Caleb Warren, who's gone on to great success in senior hockey. When you look at that, like, you must have a tremendous sense of pride when you reflect back on that, and to have so many guys credit you as such a source of inspiration for what they did on the ice, what they continue to do on the ice, and now what they're doing off the ice, Brooksy. Like, that's got to be a tremendous source of pride for you.
Source of pride, and a little humbling to hear that, because, I mean, they were a wonderful group of kids. I mean, they really were. And yeah, you know what? I did push them, and quite honestly, maybe I've gotten a little bit softer as I've gotten older because of coaching my own kids more and more. But I did challenge that group, and I pushed them hard. I wanted to see, especially that core group from town here, I wanted to see them have successes. And successes didn't mean winning a championship. I mean, I feel very fortunate that we were able to do that, and, the 2 cherries and then the Sutherland Cup in there. But what you listed off, Ryan, is what's, so special for me, is to see the successes they become now. Since that time, as you say, the coaches and their successes, but the life skills of some of these guys are cops, guys have families, guys are working in Toronto in the world of business there. And you're right. I am very, very proud of them. And I love bumping into them too, because it always brings a smile back to your face when you think back to those great times.
Yeah, absolutely. I do need to ask you this as well, on the note of you becoming a little soft in your older age here. How long would you say it's been since a whiteboard was smashed? It's got to be 6-7 years now.
Yeah, I haven't smashed one. I'm not going to say I haven't had a good snap here and there, Ryan. I'm not going to say that.
That's okay.
I'm good for 2 or 3 of those a year, but no, I haven't broke a whiteboard. Not recently.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's been a little while. I'm sure. I will never forget running through Walmart one day, and I think it was that Sutherland Cup year. I think it was early 2018, and I saw Jesse Cole wheeling out a couple whiteboards in his cart, and I went, "You guys short on whiteboards?" He said, "Oh, don't ask." I understand what's occurring here. So yeah, that's good.
That's okay good. Though. That's okay.
Clarkey,
okay.
Do you want to
let's talk about some. Yeah. I want you to advise me now. You're not getting paid for this, but is there a reason that I should be concerned with our Leafs hockey team here heading into December? They seem to be on a little bit of a roll here. 2 in a row, could have been 3 in a row if they had held on.
3 or 4. 3 or 4 here.
The one loss to the Washington Capitals. I don't want to bring that up, but tell me, is there a reason for me to be panicking a little bit about this season?
I'm not going to say panic, Clarkey, but I think, we have to have some concerns. Obviously with the injuries, number one. Mm-hmm. I think that's a tough one for them. I think the roster creation that they put together, I find very intriguing. It's going completely away from the Shannon plan, what Kyle Dubas had created with Sheldon Keefe as coach, right? The very skilled and high flying group of players to more of a rugged banger style, mixed in still with some of the, great skill that they still have, right? With a Matthews and a Nylander, and even a Tavares at his age, he's still plugging along really well. But it's that interesting 180 almost, right? That seems different. I think it's hard sometimes for Leaf fans to swallow it. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at them going, "Where's this offense? Where's the dynamic team we were, and now we're this bang and crash, and we hope for a goal, right? Where it was more, let's defend a little bit, but we can score, right?"
But they also never won a cup. So are they built better now?
I think in ways they're built better, but I still think the concerns, Clarkey, with the back end, I get the pieces they've added, but I still think the back end is a concern. I think the goaltending, if healthy, is not a concern, but to stay healthy is a concern.
And it's it's been a weird year for the goalies. Like we had Joe Wall out for we don't know why, and now Stolarz is out for we don't know why. It seemed like, he criticized the team. He then played like crap for a few games, and then he's disappeared. It's been a very bizarre year with the Leaf goaltending. When we went into the season thinking maybe it's the best 1-2 tandem in the league.
I don't disagree, and I wish I had answers for you that you guys don't have, but I have the same answers you have, the unknown of it all. Yeah. But hopefully Joseph Wall here can kind of get his feet under him and get, keep rolling what he's doing, because I think he's played pretty well. I said to Ryan earlier, Clarkey, though, due to my scheduling conflicts, I haven't been able to watch the Leafs as much as I'd like to this year. Yep, so
that's fair.
I don't even get to hear it on the radio as much anymore. So it's been crazy.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
You got to make sure you take some of that in. It's the last year of Bonesy. It's the last year of Joe Bowen. You got to take some of the radio in.
Well, it's funny you say that. I actually, Callum, my son, and I went down to a Leaf game in November, early November against Utah. And we got to go down to the room. And as I'm heading down there with him, sure enough, there's Joe Bowen walks by. And, you're such a fan of the voice, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be that guy to say, "Hey, Mr. Bowen," but somebody did that. He starts talking and you just hear the voice off the radio and you're like, that is awesome. And Ryan, you have that same voice.
Wow. Holy, that's the nicest thing. It's certainly nicer than anything Clarkey's ever said to me on the show. So, wow, I really appreciate that. I did just see Bonesy's son, David, of course, obviously is the radio voice on the road of the Sudbury Wolves, and we just had Sudbury come from Guelph, and very talented. Obviously, the genes are very evident there, so I think he's going to have a long broadcasting career too.
Ryan, can I ask about the power play? I know I probably haven't seen a lot, but there's still Brooksy. I don't know how many times we need to talk about the power play on this show. They're still going with the 5 forward lineup.
Apparently, that's going to be short-lived.
Well, it should be. They're giving up shorthanded goals. The guys don't know what to do defensively. What do you install? Like what kind of why? I don't understand why they just don't go with the lines. Go with the 3 guys who play together and put 2D on and play.
Yeah, I still come back to Clarkey. I think we've talked about Ryan's Capitals, but the Washington Capitals of the past, I always thought started what is the formula for success that a lot of teams adopted, right? Like that defenseman at the top that you have to fear, who's got the hammer of a shot, but has the ability to make passes, right? And Toronto really doesn't have that. I mean, Morgan Riley, I'll say he's a good NHL defenseman, offensive defenseman, but he's not elite. He's not that guy that puts fear into penalty killers from the top. Right. And if you put fear into them at the top, that opens up Matthews and Nylander on the flanks, because they do have 2 shooters out there like those teams. But again, when you don't have that top player to put the fear into them, it's harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think that's something that's just been an ongoing thing that the Leafs, I mean, they've done a good job of kind of getting past it just on the raw talent that's available to them with the forwards. Now, obviously, a blow was dealt to that, obviously, with Mitch Marner leaving, and it's hard to replace that guy's ability on a power play. But one thing that's always kind of stuck out like a sore thumb to me with their power play in particular is that, and it's really been a thing that's, I don't know if plagued them is the right word, but maybe it is because they haven't had success. One thing that's plagued them is they have not had a number one defenseman the entire Matthews era. I like Morgan Riley. I think he's a good player. I would even maybe say at his peak, that one year that he hit, what's his career high? 72 points, I believe, Clarkey, 78 points. I would say at his peak, he's even a very good player, but not elite. And when you look back at when you look back at recent cup winners, they don't have a Letang. They don't have a Carlson. They don't have a Duncan Keith, a Drew Doughty, a Chara. They're missing that. That's not there. And it can be a big thing. They don't have a Makar, a Hedman, Pietrangelo. Run down the list of recent cup winners.
Carlson.
Leafs don't have that guy. Well,
you already said John Carlson, yeah.
Johnny Carlson, yeah, not Eric. Almost Eric one time, but
yeah.
You know, like, yeah, they just don't have that guy. And I do wonder if maybe they need to take a page out of someone like, and I don't say this disrespectfully, they won a Stanley Cup. I wonder if this Leafs decor needs to adopt maybe that 2006 Carolina Hurricanes identity defensively, where they had some good defensemen, but they didn't have like an elite puck moving guy. You know, I think of like Glenn Wesley and these Warriors back there. Maybe they need to mix that with a little bit of 2017 Penguins where Letang was hurt and they were basically just flipping the puck out and letting the forward skate into it. I don't know if that's something they need to try and adopt, Brooksy, but they need to get away from trying to play like they do have a number one defenseman, because they don't.
Well, I think that's reasonable what you're saying. I think the hard part is a lot of these skilled Leaf forwards are puck possession guys. The Matthews, right? The Nylanders, the Tavarises, they want the puck. They want the puck to make plays. They, you know, even to the lesser extent, the Aaron Crocs and the Robertsons who think they want the puck, right? Domi wants the puck. They got to get the puck to them. They got to get the puck to them quickly. The weird part about it all for me, guys, is last year that team was Game 7 in round 2. I am saying that right, correct? It's round 2, Game 7.
Yep.
And you take Mitch out. We've had our discussions about Mitch Marner in the past, but you know what? He's sorely missed right now, because he had Matthews, or helped Matthews get rolling more. He was very good penalty killer. Defensively, he had a conscience. Offensively, he drove me nuts. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He drove me nuts with the high risk, high reward. But they're lacking something in a spark, you know, that last year was there. And we're talking about defense, but that defense was here. After the trade deadline, that defense was here, right? It's that the power play part of the defense is what they're lacking. And I agree with everything you said about the players, like, and on those successful Stanley Cup teams, the Leafs do not have that.
Yeah.
I want to ask
about find that guy too, right? So
I wanted to ask about Willie Nylander. Here's a guy who has immense talent. There's no doubt about it. But usually at least once a game, you'll see him jawing back and forth with Berube.
Him and Berube.
And it's like,
wow.
How do you do you just, if you're the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, do you just basically shake your head and just say, just go play, just put up points?
It's a good question, because again, as a player, when I played, I'm coming out of the early 90s in the OHL, like, and playing for Brian Kilray. Brian Kilray barked at you. You never turned your head, right?
No.
Like, you were not allowed to turn your head. Like, the players on your team, the veterans, like made sure you knew, you do not look back. Right. And as a young coach coming through, you always kind of adopted what you had learned as a player, and you tried not to let them turn around. But I honestly don't know, Clarkey, what you say to that, because I mean, Willie makes more money. He drives, right? You know what I mean? Like they make more money than the coach, and it's a lot easier to get rid of a coach than it is to get rid of a player like Willie, right? To get the value back.
Do you think there was any danger of Berube losing his job? Like I thought Saturday night, if they walked into Pittsburgh and had a bad effort again, that it could be happening. Ryan and I have talked about this before, but I don't know. They turned it around the last 2 games. I know 2 games doesn't mean a lot, but at the end of the day, I just think with an opportunity to change one guy to get this team going, because obviously they don't want to miss the playoffs. Sometimes you got to, the coach takes the fall, right? He's got the target, not the advisor.
But I just look at that team, and you can stick it with the advisor comment. The downside for the Leafs is it's not Berube. He did an amazing job last year. He changed the style of play for that team last year, completely different from what Sheldon had done, and they bought in, right? Like you're game 7 away from moving on to the 3rd round. It comes down to these players have got to buy in to what he's doing, and you know what? You're right. If they don't buy in, something has to change. But the names out there, like. You go get Pete DeBoer, who I think the world of as a coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in the game today. But he's a lot like Craig Berube, right? Like he's a hard-nosed defensive type guy. That voice is not going to change. You know what I mean? The narrative isn't going to change for them. So I don't know. Yeah,
I found it interesting when I can't remember who they play before Washington. I can't remember, but they won the game. First game of the trip. Columbus, and they had a lead after overtime. 2, and they were talking to Matthews, and they said, "What do you got to do to win this hockey game?" And his comment was, "We just got to keep playing boring hockey." And I thought, this is a guy who scored 69 goals. He doesn't want to play boring hockey, and I thought that was a little shot. But at the end of the day, he should want to win a cup. And I guess if you have to play boring hockey to win a cup, you got to do it, right?
Well, definitely. I mean, I think the New Jersey Devils back in the 90s were the kings of boring hockey, and, you know, all they did was win. So, I think there's a combination, though, and I think that's where maybe the struggle is this year is they got to find it, like, between boring hockey, as you say, to freewheeling and losing, right? I don't have a great answer for you as your advisor, Clarkey. So
the worst is playing boring hockey and losing.
Well, that's right. And if there's no emotion, if there's zero emotion in it. So that's where they got to find the answer, right? Get some emotion.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, hey, we're talking to a guy who would know this better than most. I mean, that team that I put the picture up of the Listowel Cyclones that year, you guys won the Sutherland Cup. I still say to this day, I think that's the greatest junior B team ever assembled. Like I'd put that squad up against any squad that's ever played in the Greater Ontario Hockey League, and they win every time, in my opinion. A lot of guys that were talented on that team, Holden Lansink and Colin Mercer and Herf and all those guys, like really talented players. But they would always dig in, and they seemed to take pride in digging in. And when you hear, that's a term that gets thrown around this Leafs team a lot, Brooksy. And I know you got to go. We'll let you go on this. When you hear that term, and when you, I'm sure over many conversations with players, have used that term, specifically with star guys like Willie, what do you mean? What does dig in mean from the coach?
You know what? It's engage in battles. It's using your body to engage in battles, not to blow people up, but to win those one-on-one battles, to back check, to have a conscience in back check, right? And I'll say this, watching the Leaf game against Utah, sitting upstairs, you got the view of the ice because I'm cheap, so I'm in the nosebleeds. And honestly, it was awesome because you see everything. And that was one of the biggest things I noticed. Well, two big things I noticed about their two stars. So star one, Nylander, I thought was kind of lazy a lot of the time without the puck, right? Like defensive responsibilities to get back. There isn't a lot of that dig in to get back and get on the D side or get somebody's stick. Offensively, he gets the puck and Clarkey's like dynamic, right? He just kind of sit back and go, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Matthews played, and I walked away going, he's really, really good defensively. Like from a dig-in standpoint, he gets on the D side, he uses his stick. You'd like to see him engage physically more, but I know in our past discussions, do you want him digging in, being a power forward and hammering people, or do you want 69 goals? Right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's the player that can do both. He creates it off of turnovers, open space, the shot. It's not through blowing up somebody in the corner, driving the net, right, and whacking something in off a rebound.
Yeah.
So to your point, Ryan, and that's the dig in part though, right? Like the willingness to be on the D side, the willingness to, win those battles, to get in the tough areas, right? In front of the net, to win battles at the defensive blue line, to make sure you get the puck out and you're not throwing hope plays everywhere that could lead back against you, right? You want simple plays. And quoting Matthews, what you said, Clarkey, like it's boring hockey at times, but if you dig in, it doesn't have to be, because offensively you can find the net probably a lot better than playing run and gun hope hockey.
One last question. I know Ryan said that was it, but one last question, if I could. What do you make of this seemingly debacle with the Olympics with a 4-foot shorter ice surface? Like, is this how will this change the game?
Again, in my advising role,
yeah,
I wouldn't want to comment on it, to be honest with you. I think I think it's going to hit a snag with the PA and the NHL, that they're not going to want this, right?
It's craziness. What's going on?
It's bonkers stuff. The IOC's a mess, and I have plenty of comments about it, Clarkey. And
we'll talk about it later.
We'll dig into that. Brooksy, man, you're such a busy guy. We really appreciate this. I'm so happy to have you involved back in the Ontario Hockey League. And if you are at the game on December 12th when the Sting visit the Storm, please remember we had this conversation. I know you're busy. Come say hi. Come by the booth. You know where I am.
Once upon a time, I knew my way around that rink, so I can come say hi.
I'm in the same spot. It hasn't changed much. All right. So Memorial Cup's coming to town too. All right. I'm sure you've heard. So,
and congratulations on that, and congratulations to Guelph. It's a very exciting opportunity. The last one in 2002, my first year with the Storm. So it's long overdue, but it's a great opportunity for them, and to beat out Kitchener for that opportunity, who's a great franchise as well. Kudos to Guelph.
Absolutely, sir. Well said. Well, we appreciate you doing this, buddy. It's never boring hockey when you're on the show, brother.
Well, I thank you, and I appreciate Clarkey as his new advisor. We'll do it again.
We will. Awesome.
Absolutely, buddy.
Checks
Thanks,
in the mail.
Brooksy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Take care, buddy. Oh, man. Jason Brooks, ladies and gentlemen, one of the finest human beings I've ever come across in this great game of hockey. Like, the guy, he's achieved so much. I mean, I can't help but think back to those great Listowel teams, and
we got to get him coaching the Leafs. We got to get him coaching the Leafs.
Brooksy could absolutely coach the Leafs. I think.
Listen,
well, here's the thing, though, is like, having said that, and this is not a comment on his ability as a coach, I don't know that Brooksy could coach the Leafs, because like Craig Berube's having a trouble with it, and I loved his point about Pete DeBoer, and like Brooksy knows Pete real
we've
well.
talked about it, for sure, and we've talked about Pete DeBoer for sure. But
like, if people think that like Pete DeBoer would come into this situation and like, I don't know, be like chummy with, like, if they think he's going to walk in there and be like a Bruce Boudreau players type of coach where he's like, hey, Austin, how you doing today?
For sure.
It's like and if the players thought that, you're going to get a very rude awakening. And I mean, I know one thing for sure. Brooksy's an amazing guy. He's so well-spoken, beloved by everybody that's played for him. But like everybody's always told me, from Holden Lansing and Caleb Warren, great leaders, captains on down. Brooksy's an awesome coach. He'll get on top of you, man. That dude was hard. I remember standing around at pregame skates, warm-ups, and like him not being happy with the way a guy was warming up and waving him over. I won't say who that player was, but I witnessed it numerous times. Him being like, are you taking this seriously? Like, this is a big game tonight, right? And like, this is a game in like November, like setting the tone early with these young guys. And he was tough on them. He was very tough on them, but it worked out. And I don't know if he'd be able to have many conversations like what we see Craig Berube having with William Nylander, who is, in terms of raw skill with a puck on his stick, one of the top 10 pure skill with a puck, maybe even top 5 player in the league.
Yeah.
He's dazzling. Without the puck, he's not even in the top 200. Without the puck, William Nylander's not even I don't even want him on the ice when he doesn't have the puck. I'm just being perfectly frank. I'm not trying to be a dick on here.
They need him. So
they need him.
There's no doubt they need him. But I hear you.
You know,
listen, do you have any idea? So Leafs in Florida, usually a lot of Leaf fans at the game, right? Do you know what the ticket prices were on Tuesday night in Florida?
Oh, when they were in Sunrise, I genuinely have no idea. Were they outrageous?
No. This was about 2 hours before game time. And I'm not joking.
Whoa.
So $5, $4, 34 first level.
Whoa.
So to me, this shows two things. One is the Florida fans don't care when they're not playing well. Secondly, there's not a lot of snowbirds down there, or they would be eating these up. The cheapest ticket was $4.
That's,
if I had seen this the day before, I literally could have bought a ticket from Detroit to Fort Lauderdale, flown down there, flown back, stayed in a hotel, watched the game cheaper than I could have gone to a Leaf game.
Yeah,
Toronto,
dude, this is
that crazy?
It's not, because anybody that pays attention to this stuff for the last 50 years knows that this is the case. It's a tale as old as time.
Though. That was US.
It's
so 5
US prices.
5 US would be 8 Canadian.
850. I don't know.
Whatever.
Math.
Craziness. Just
not
crazy the price of tickets. Yeah.
Absolutely. Dude, it's a tale as old as time. Leaf fans can't watch the Leafs in Toronto.
No, I know.
Like even a guy like Brooksy, who's got connections.
Right.
Nosebleeds. That guy should be in a box.
I'm telling you right now, things are changing down there a little bit. There's tickets available to games, and the tickets are getting cheaper to games for the Leafs right now. That may change if they start winning again, but right now, like that last stretch before this road trip, you could get a ticket for less than $100.
So you're right. Yeah. So what you're saying is there is spender fatigue because the team's been so poor.
Yeah, and we've never seen that in Toronto. Win or lose, people showed up. Now they're losing, and people are saying, you know what? Times are a little different here. Screw you.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Like the economic standing of many people in this great country of ours is not fantastic. And I think a lot of people, I heard Brian Hayes talking about it on Overdrive the last couple of days, just about his Christmas routine. And he's like, honestly, like I'm wheeling around and I'd be grabbing Leaf stuff. He's like, I got nephews and I'm grabbing Jay stuff. I don't think I bought any Leaf stuff for anybody, he said. And he's like, it's Jays all the time right now. And it's because of what they did. And, certainly the World Series tickets weren't affordable, but that was a buildup over a long time where people were like, wow, we're finally back. Whereas Leaf tickets, no matter if they're good or bad, are obscenely expensive.
They have been, yes. Face value, they are for sure.
Face value, yeah.
I'm telling you, that secondhand market is coming down. Yeah.
Well,
which is good because we've talked about the secondhand.
Well, the secondary market. Look, Clarkey, we could start another podcast just talking about ticketing.
We'd probably be taken out though.
We could. I don't care. What are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do? Like send a Russian admin bot to shut our site down? Like,
or worse.
I don't think they care about the little people enough to really pay attention. The Ticketmaster CEO, whatever his name is I don't think he's probably not on Twitter. But yeah, it is. I guess encouraging might not be the right word, but I mean, like, it's somewhat good to see that like people are showing some displeasure, right? And I mean, like, look, the team. Look, at the end of the day in sports, like, you bring it on yourself, right? Like, if you're successful, people are willing to put up with semi-obscene prices depending on the market and go, yeah, okay, it's $300 for a ticket, but they're really good. And this Matthews character's kicking around. And the way that they're playing this year, not recently, as we record this on Thursday, December 4th. It's Kate's birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, Kate.
Kate's birthday.
Wow.
Got to get that on the show.
I was in Louisville today. I should have dropped by.
You could have dropped by. She was here very brief. She's off to a concert. She's off to go see Sean Desmond. How about that? Oh, but yeah, like, you look at it and it's strange to see the tide turn a little bit. And like,
we're okay.
They bring it on themselves, right?
We're
like,
okay. We're okay. I think we're okay. I was in panic mode Saturday night. I got to tell you, I thought if they lose this game Saturday night against Pitt.
Well, and they leathered Pittsburgh, who have really come back down to earth. Like, they did. Pittsburgh,
they're a better team, and they showed it. Leafs are a better team than Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
they got to prove it.
For God's sake, they should be.
Absolutely, they should be.
I think that with those two, you're seeing that classic, like, extremes that are going to eventually meet in the middle somewhere. I think everybody was confident, myself included, having watched them the last number of years, because they're in Washington's division, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody was pretty confident Pittsburgh was not as good as what they were playing the first month and a half.
Right.
And a lot of people were maybe not as confident, but somewhat confident that there's no way the Leafs are this. The Leafs are probably this, and Pittsburgh's probably this. And that's kind of bearing fruit, certainly on the Pittsburgh side of things. And I mean, to no one's surprise, Washington is this, and that's great, right? So they're in first place, and now I know that you don't win stuff in December, but I just want, a lot of people were messaging me, Clarkey, not you,
no,
because you're classy.
I was waiting for your message last week, but it didn't come. I know you were probably doing a game. But no, you usually do. You usually give me a little dig, which is fine.
I don't message you.
But I didn't dig you either when the Leafs were winning. And again, doesn't matter. The final score is the only thing that matters.
It is, yeah.
They were outshot heavily in that game. They were in it, but they got to close it out.
They were up 2-0. Like, they
got to close it out.
If you're referencing the Washington game.
Weren't they up 2-1 with 4 minutes left? I think so. Anyway, they were up with 4.5 minutes left, and then
something like that. Yeah, it was a late comeback.
Coming though, you could see the swarming, and you're like, "This isn't good."
Here's what it is, right? It's guys like my boy Tommy Wilson who come out and dig in.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Wilson's on pace for 100 points.
Incredible.
What a goon. We got to kick this guy out of the league. It shows how much the average fan knows. The average fan doesn't know a damn thing. Most of them need an advisor like Brooksy. Special advisor to instigating, by the way. Put that on your resume, Brooksy.
He is. Yeah.
We
should put him on the credits.
We should get him in the credits. It's just one of those things where, and look, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but you need certain people that have a good sense of things and can see something in a player. And I've certainly acquired a little more of that over my time spending so much time in a rink over the last number of years, particularly with junior players. Like I've seen guys where you go, there's something in there. If I can brag for a minute, like Braden Bowman of the Vegas Golden Knights is lighting it up. I said 100 times over the course of his career on Storm broadcasts, I'm like, Bonesy's a pro player. He's playing in the NHL someday. The shot alone. And look what he's doing. I think he's up to 6 goals now. They can't send him back down. They can't send him back down. So my point, though, and I'm certainly not a guy you'd turn to get a proper assessment on a player, but Tom Wilson's a good example of a guy where everybody thought this guy's just a fourth-line goon. He runs people over and hits people in the head and gets suspended. Turns out, actually, he's a 30-goal scorer, and I don't think he's going to finish with 100 points. God bless him if he does, but look what he's doing out there. And on that note, I want to quickly, if we can, Clarkey, jump over to baseball. Because
we haven't talked about the Olympics.
Let's talk about that quickly first. You're right. Let's talk about the Olympics. I personally think that the NHL needs to pull the plug.
Well,
and give them an ultimatum.
Apparently, Bill Daly said, well, first of all, if the rink's not ready, they're not going. Because the rink is still not ready. They've known for 8 years they're getting the Olympics. And then we're now December 4th, and they're not ready. And their first game's in 2 months. Like, the rink is not ready. I don't understand it.
February 11th, I believe, is supposed to be the first men's hockey game.
But there's Paralympics in there. I guess that's after. There's women's.
There's a whole deal.
Yeah,
there's a whole thing.
Sure.
Here's my stance on it. The IOC should be embarrassed and should apologize. From the NHL's perspective, this is a real tough thing because they go, okay, we'll send our players back. They've already scheduled the season.
I know,
to have that gap. And because of that, it would be a logistical nightmare for the NHL to go back to these buildings and say, by the way, remember that 3-week vacancy that we were setting up for, and you're a building that needs to make money, so you booked a bunch of concerts and different events during that time when there's no hockey? Yeah, we're going to need to wipe that all out. So you're going to need to call like 13 different artists and get them to cancel their show.
There's no way that's going to happen.
They can't do it. And on that note,
yeah, go ahead.
Because that just is not feasible from a pure business standpoint, I truly believe that they're going to end up playing the tournament in like Switzerland or something, or maybe
that's what I was going to
host it on North American ice.
Are you telling me there's no other rink in Italy that they can play in? Like, there's no rinks in Italy. 200 by 85.
I know that there are, because my cousin Brad goes over and does hockey schools in the summer.
Unless they're smaller too, I don't know.
They're small. We're talking like
play there, but yeah, like there's got to be rinks somewhere that they can.
Well, because there's got to be.
It's such an embarrassment for the IOC. Like, it's incredible, and
so there's rinks over there that are, most of them, I think all of them actually, are Olympic size. So that's a problem, number one. Yep. And number two, they're so small that there has to be a revenue element to this.
And we shouldn't call it Olympic size anymore. This is the Olympics, and it's not that size.
Well,
I know they're 200 by 100. Yeah, 200 by 100 instead of 200 by 85. Now, someone said today, I think it was Chris Johnston on TSN or his podcast, he said that the league played an exhibition, or actually – 2 teams went over at the beginning of the year to Sweden and played on that exact same size rink. So the league, I don't think, is as concerned about the size of the rink as opposed to it being ready and done. So like apparently they've known for a while that the size of the rink is going to be a little bit smaller, 3.5 or 3 feet, 10 inches smaller. At the end of the day, that doesn't sound like a lot to me, and something you can overcome. The neutral zone would just be a little shorter.
Sure. Like, ultimately you just want the facility operational. Like, I saw the picture the other day, like they're still hanging rafters and like steel girders. Like, Italy, what's going on over there? Like, are you guys?
They've known for 8 years.
And look, I am not a construction expert. I'm not a politics expert. I don't know how much is handled by the IOC in terms of them organizing the construction of the building for their event, how much is handled municipally in the area of Milano that is hosting this. I don't know who to blame here.
They need to send some more people to get this done. Like, do you know in 1930
how is this possible?
Do you know how long it took to build Maple Leaf Gardens?
Oh God, I read
10
this
months.
once. Yeah, they built
Maple Leaf Gardens in 10 months in the middle of a depression in 1930, which they probably didn't have the same kind of equipment they have now. They built
people worked harder back then.
10 months. Just get it done. Just get it done. Oh,
I'm having a hard.
Like they could have built one up in Vaughan in 10 months.
The O-Dog said that. Yeah.
He did say that. Anyway, it's right. Such a joke. Like, first of all, not getting it done. Secondly,
it's a bad
and like
look.
Bill Daly, the whatever he is, commissioner,
the deputy commissioner,
little helper, said if it's not done, we're not going. So it doesn't sound like another venue's an option, which I don't understand why, but whatever. And
not the way he made it sound,
though, that they've accepted the fact that it's going to be a shorter ice surface, and they're just going to live with it. It's actually a little bit wider. It's 85 feet and like 4 inches or some stupid thing. So I don't understand, though, when you know you're building it for one particular thing to host the Olympics, how you cannot get it 200 by 85. That just boggles my mind.
I know it's literally happened in 32 different venues in the National Hockey League and hundreds more across the AHL, ECHL, OHL.
No,
like,
there was
did any
time,
of these
though.
guys, do they have tape measures in Italy?
Yeah, I don't know, but there was a time.
Do they have tape measures?
There was a lot of league arenas in the NHL that were smaller. Boston and Buffalo, too, that come to mind. I think Chicago Stadium was too.
The Detroit Olympia. The Olympia.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's been. I think they'll get over the fact it's a little smaller. I don't know if it's going to help a speedier team or a bigger team or what.
That's not even a factor.
I don't think it matters, and I don't think you pick your players because it's 3 feet shorter. I don't think you can do that.
No,
they were discussing that on a radio show yesterday. Let's come on, just get over that. You got to pick the best players. But anyway, it's just anything. It's crazy we're talking about that. As opposed to, is Connor Bedard going to be on the team, or is John Tavares going to be on the team, or is Mitch Marner going to be on the team? Like, we should be talking.
Well, Marner will be on the team.
Well, we'll see.
Marner will be on the team. I'll guarantee you.
We'll see.
On the team.
We'll see.
He's on the team. It's rubber stamped. I guarantee he's on.
Okay, fine.
You're being a little silly there. He's on the team.
Who would you pick, Bedard?
Is Tommy
you had to
Wilson
pick between, he should be. There's no doubt Tom Wilson should be on the team.
He should
be. But
if
you had to pick between Bedard and Marner, who are you picking?
I would take Marner. I would take Marner. Like, he played real well at the Four Nations and played on a line with McDavid and set up the overtime winning goal. Mm-hmm. I would take Marner.
Okay, and who's in your goal? Let's change topic.
Logan Thompson. It's not even a remote conversation for me anymore. He's the best goaltender in the NHL by a landslide.
Someone said Scott Wedgwood. You know what?
No,
I agree. I know what the record is. I know what Colorado's record is. I know it's great, but
that's
he is
my
not
point.
One of the top 3 goalies in Canada. Like,
I think. Look, I'm not trying to take anything
Kempfer
away from him.
As much as that pains me to say, and they're going to take Binnington. They're going to take him.
I think so too. I think
that's your 3 guys: Thompson, Binnington, and Darcy Kemper.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not trying to take anything away from Scott Wedgwood. Unbelievable. Happy for the guy. But
no proven.
When you look at high danger save percent, we don't need to dig into all that.
No, we don't. Okay, let's talk Blue Jays. We got 5 minutes left. Let's go. What's happening here?
Well, let me tell you, there is some serious heat building. Let's first start quickly with a $30 million signing in Cody Ponce, former big leaguer. There he is in his Pirates gear. Mm-hmm. So this guy had a real resurgence to his career this past season, playing in the KBO. That's the top Korean baseball league division. Yeah. And our friend Keegan Matheson, friend of the show, wrote a nice piece about him. He was a 2015 second-round pick of the Brewers, who saw parts of 2 big league seasons. He played with the Hanwha Eagles this past season. He was a teammate of Hyunjin Ryu, as a matter of fact.
He was. He wore his jersey in the game.
He absolutely did. I understand.
Blue Jay jersey.
I understand this is a different league and the competition level is different. But what you want to see out of a pitcher, and this goes back to my conversation about Brooksy and advisors and having guys that can get a good eye on guys and go, that'll play in the big leagues. When a guy goes over there, you want to see them dominate. When you talk about a guy dominating, a 1.89 ERA, crazy. 252 Ks over 180 and 2/3 innings, which is a single season strikeout record. He also set a single game strikeout record in the KBO with an 18 strikeout game in May. League MVP. This guy tore apart the KBO. And the Jays said, we would like to bring you over here and get you into our bullpen. And the one thing that everybody is really harping on here, Clarkey, and that people are excited about is this changeup, this weird 3-finger split changeup that he has unlocked.
Okay.
I was watching video of it. This pitch is
nasty.
Holy cow.
Nice.
He is tearing people apart with
I want you to clip this right now, okay? I would say producer Adam, but producer Adam's not here. So producer Ryan.
It's producer Ryan.
The Blue Jays this year. Okay. I'm going out on a limb here. We'll have their first, this next season, 2026.
Okay.
We'll have their first no-hitter since Dave Stieb. Someone's going to do it.
I like
Savage,
that a lot.
Ponce.
Cease and desist. So Ponce could be part of one. I don't think he'll start.
I don't know if they trade Barrios. We'll see what happens there. They need a stopper. They still
you're right.
Not be their closer. They still need a stopper.
You know what? You're right. He could start. He could start. You're right.
He could start. Anyway, I just think
I like that
starting lineup of pitchers that this team has. They're going to get a no-hitter. I'm not going as far as saying a perfect game, which never has happened.
Perfect.
Steve has come close twice to a perfect game.
What are there? 27 all time? 27 perfect games in Major League Baseball history?
Yeah. And Steve,
I believe,
Steve was 1 out away.
He was 1 out
of a perfect game twice. Anyway,
and
then he finally got his no. But the Jays will have a no-hitter this coming season. There you go.
Well,
Mark it, and we're going to play it the week after the show.
Here's another prediction. A guy that's going to be in the outfield that watches that no-hitter. I think it just might be this gentleman right here.
Double down. They might be tripling down. You said double down a few weeks ago. This team might be tripling down.
Quadrupling, quintupling,
maybe
sextupling.
They have the dough.
I don't know what the next one is. I can only go as far as sextuple. I don't know what the 7 one is.
Once
I'm not sure.
Sextuple, you don't care.
Okay. Dude, and that's where the show is canceled. No, Kyle Tucker down in Dunedin apparently really like the facilities. I hope it's not Ohtani 2.0.
Could be. Sounds like it. Is he using this Blue Jay team again like Ohtani did to get a better deal elsewhere? That's my question for you.
I hope not. I think Kyle Tucker's in a little bit of a different scenario, and I think that he saw what the Blue Jays did and sees a very nice fit for himself in that lineup with Vladdy, whether he hits cleanup or hits second, runs the base row, a 5-tool guy, a 5-tool guy. Power, hits for average, gets on base, runs the base as well, defends extremely well, is fast. I like it.
If they sign Tucker, do they re-sign Bo Bichette?
I think probably no, but they could.
So who would you rather have? I heard Steve Phillips say he'd rather have Bo Bichette.
I'd rather have Kyle Tucker.
Steve Phillips says the other way around.
I understand that, and Steve's a very smart guy. Look, Bo's a better all-around hitter.
I think they're getting both.
He leads the American League. Wow. I love your optimism.
I think they're getting both. They're getting both. They're getting a no-hitter, and they're winning the World Series.
You're a positive guy, man.
Mark
I
it
love
down.
this, man. I'm really fired up now. How
So
about
am I.
that?
We got 30 seconds left now. And you're
well,
finally
buddy,
fired up. I asked you at the beginning of the show to be fired up for this episode because you started low, but you've ended high. I like
cortisol's through the roof. You pushed me there, Coach.
I did.
You pushed me there, Coach.
I'm
The
advising.
Reg Dunlop jacket. I love it. We're going to the Aces. I love it. All right, everybody. Remember, you can find this show on YouTube, all your favorite podcast apps, on Rogers TV. We really appreciate it. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. Thanks to Jason Brooks of the Sarnia Sting for joining us. Really appreciate everybody listening to and watching. As always, Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. We'll be back next week.